god. I go to push my start button and just like immediately I'm like, and now I have to burp like really, really loudly. Let's just wait a second or two. Let's have our wonderful, our illustrious viewers enjoy the story of that rather than the experience. Speaking of experience, excuse me, my voice is a little. Hope that's not a problem tonight.
Oh, maybe I should drink this tea that I've got here. How you doing, Desert Owl?
7 months. 7 whole months. Thank you so much for that resub. How are you, Desert Owl? It is fantastic to see you. Automat Americana. Yeah, I fucking nailed it. Crushed it. Hey, Cyborg Stare, good to see you, man. Nocturnal Miniatures, welcome in. Vergatarung, Riot Sister, at the start. Ooh, what have we done? What fantastic thing have we done to deserve Riot Sister at the start? Vergatarung, is it your birthday today? We have a birthday today. And I think it's Vergatarung? No, it's not. Whose is it? Oh my god. It's somebody's. Oh, look, I have myself on in the background. That's why I'm hearing an echo. Let's fix that real quick. There, that goes away. That goes away. Is it Roland's birthday? It's somebody's birthday today. And I haven't thought about it all day, and then I sat down to start streaming, and this is the sort of thing that I should really look up a few minutes before I start. Yes, Roland, that's it. Haha, I got it right. I got it right moment. Yes, it is Dr. Rhino's birthday. It is also Dr. Rhino's birthday, but Roland's birthday was the one that I wanted to be sure that I remembered. And I remembered, I was like, God, it's somebody's birthday today. I knew that it was somebody pretty fucking cool. And I apologize, Roland, that the first name that popped into my head was Vergatarung, and the second one was yours. That is my admission. Happy birthday, Roland! Excuse me, I'm squeezing lemon into my tea if you're wondering why I'm doing weird shit with my hands here. And I remember it because, you know what I did? You know what I did, Roland? I did something. And I did it for you. I was thinking of you the whole time. I watched 3. I watched 3 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I did it. I was just like, you know, at this point people really seem to like it. I guess like my standards are so low that at this point it could be a giant piece of shit, and I just don't feel like it would hurt me that much anymore. Like my skin is getting thicker by the day. But I watched 3 episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and I like it. I like the show so far. It's Anson Mount as Christopher Pike is fucking great. I don't think that he has virtually anything in common with how Christopher Pike has been portrayed previously. And I'm not counting Pike from the J. Abrams movies. That doesn't fucking count. That's who is that? That's like Bruce Greenwood, isn't it? I'm thinking of Pike as he was portrayed in The Cage, and he doesn't really have anything in common with him. But I'm like, you know what? It's been rebooted and redone so many times. Who gives a shit? Like, I'm open-minded enough. I am downtrodden enough. I have been hurt enough. My standards are so low that I'm fine with it, because you know what? He's really likable. He has great screen charisma. God, excuse me. I should drink this tea. I'm steeping it. I'm steeping it a little bit, and then I'm gonna drink it, and then hopefully my voice will be better. Okay. Terribly sorry. Wombat Combat Prime. Wombat Combat Prime. here to hear the impossible, hitting that 12. How has it been 12 months, Wombat? Oh my god, dude. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the subscription. At least in the first few episodes, he has been Voxel Forge. I can't speak to the latter half of the season that has released so far, because I haven't seen those episodes. I think it was 3. I think the last episode I watched was the one with the shepherds and the magical comet. The space, the comet that brings in... Oh, no, this isn't teabag dunking. I'm just, What could that possibly look like? I'm just going to slowly move my hand up and down. Just out of sight. Oh my god. I'm not responsible for the fucking thunder showers, by the way. You can send some my way. We are dry as a bone up here, and it is horribly unpleasant. I hates it. We got a little bit of rain last night while I was sleeping, and that's been about it for a while. Merlin Models, good to see you. Hopefully this'll fix my voice up a bit. That's another one, Roland. Like Nurse Chapel? I'm like, that certainly is the name of a character from Star Trek. She doesn't have anything in common with Nurse Chapel. As far as I remember, not that Nurse Chapel was, like, featured all that much. She was just kind of an accessory to Doc Bones. But, she definitely wasn't the bubbly go-getter that we get in Strange New Worlds. But again, I'm just like, these are different characters. These are different characters, and it's fine. It's fine. You know what it is? You know what it is, Roland? I just watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. And some part of me wants to go back over the last few years and just kind of put together, because I think I could mark the moments and the properties that made my standards drop. I could be like, oh, yes, I watched this, and that's when the bar went down 2 notches. I watched this, and that's when the bar went down 4 notches. I watched this, and that's when I lost 3 levels of dignity. And self-respect. And then there I was, and I was like, you know what? This Alex Kurtzman produced thing is just not that bad. Oh my god. Asri's back too? What's up? How you doing, Asri? Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. You just got done with a major step on your nids. Time for a break, Cyborg Stare. Kick back. Put your feet up. Take a load off. If I could forget one movie so I could watch it again for the first time, which would you choose? It would either be... That's actually not as easy as I thought it was when I first started thinking about it. I could give a list of them that I would be okay with that happening with, as opposed to picking just one. On that list would be Dread, Pacific Rim. I'm not going to choose Lord of the Rings, because it would have to be all 3 Lord of the Rings films. I couldn't just be like, I wish I could forget the Fellowship of the Ring, because then I'd remember the 2 towers. And that would be weird. I feel like there's probably at least one more that I would really like to experience for the first time again. There's a lot of movies that I really, really enjoy that I don't quite have that first viewing enthusiasm for, but Dread, Pacific Rim, and the Lord of the Rings trilogy are certainly right up there. I've played a few games of it, Wombat Combat. I played some with Hethrir, as a matter of fact. Not very many, but yeah. I wish I could forget the Doctor Who movies just so I could forget them. I wish I could forget Pacific Rim 2 just so I could never have seen it. I wish that I could just permanently forget The Matrix 2 and 3 and then never watch them again. That would be wonderful. Finished up a set of minis for a Pathfinder campaign, Dragon Printer. I can't wait to see what you got done. Ms. Marvel is outstanding. I won't speak to it because I haven't watched it. I'm not gonna watch it, so I'm not gonna be like, this is dumb and I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just like on Disney Plus shows at this point. I watched had I seen, I think last stream I hadn't yet watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I just saw that because I had just watched Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and almost immediately after that, I realized that Everything Everywhere All at Once was available on streaming on Amazon Prime. Like, you could buy it for like $20. I'm like, fucking take your $20. I would spend more than that going to the theater to see it anyway. And, I really liked it. I liked it a lot. It was really a lot of fun. You could always watch The Matrix 4. I didn't hate The Matrix 4. The Matrix 4 was fine. It wasn't amazing. But it was enjoyable for the most part. Had a couple of good performances. It had some fun kind of meta commentary. I liked Neil Patrick Harris in it. I liked, what's his name from Mindhunter? What's that actor's name? Yeah. Chekhov's butt plug. I thought that in the scene with Jamie Lee Curtis when she's pointing out her awards, and I'm like, those are butt plugs. Why do they give out awards that are just butt plugs? And thank God that came back later in the movie. Yeah, it's really good. I won't give any spoilers for Everything Everywhere All at Once. It would be like, it's possible to spoil it, but everything that happens in it is so strange. I'm still kind of grappling with it, but it's just a really good movie. It's fun. It's creative. It's exciting. It has like martial arts action. It has Short Round in it, which took me about 20 minutes to figure out. Michelle Yeoh's husband, which Michelle Yeoh, by the way, is looking fucking amazing for her age. She just absolutely kills that role. And there's sort of some stuff in there about like I was getting tones of like ADHD commentary and sort of like cultural identity. It has a lot of interesting things in it about sort of unrealized potential. And yeah, Short Round is in it. I'm like, I know this guy. I know this dude. I know his voice. I couldn't quite figure it out. I'm like, it's fucking Short Round. And suddenly I hear him like, no time for love, Dr. Jones. I'm like, oh, fuck, he's all grown up. Holy hell. I guess time did pass. But, yeah, I don't think it's not a spoiler to say it's about multiversal stuff. I feel like that's all been pretty well given away. And that's, like, barely starting to scratch the surface of what happens in the movie. I know the movie synopsis before it released was being put around as, a woman tries to do her taxes, which is technically an accurate description of the plot of the film, though there's a bit more to it than that. And, yeah, it was really good. I like that there's no title card that's like Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's divided into 3 parts, and part 1 is everything, part 2 is everywhere, part 3 is all at once. And, it's just so much fun. It's so much fun, it's so creatively and cleverly shot, and it's funny that I watched this immediately after watching Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because in many ways it's kind of the same idea. It actually reminded me a lot of Interstellar. The way the movie plays out, it's like Interstellar, but way less boring. And I say this as someone who I actually liked Interstellar. I just feel like you could trim a lot of that fucking movie out and not really lose anything. It had a lot of cool visuals in it. But Everything Everywhere All at Once is the same essential film. But it has scenes of, like, fanny pack foo and butt plug foo. And, what a time. What a time to resub. Dead Zone Podcast, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. Yeah, Michelle Yeoh doing some really badass kung fu. I'm watching it, and as I'm watching it, I'm thinking, like, this is a Jackie Chan movie. This is, yeah, Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate using a Pomeranian on a retractable, leash as a rope dart. She's like swinging the Pomeranian and fucking like throwing it as a weapon and pulling it back, and I'm like, what in the fuck am I watching? What? I was cracking the fuck up at that. The way it uses the multiversal concept and the way that dials in the action is really cool. There's one character who's just like completely disconnected from any one singular objective reality and can sort of flow between all of their different realities. So they just change things around them as they move, and that's used in a really creative way. Like, they jump at a person and wrap around them in like a pile driver, and then they like transition to a universe where they're luchador wrestlers, and the person they're grabbing is just suddenly upside down, and they drive them into the ground. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's really quite something. It's more fun than I've had watching a movie in a long time. And as I'm watching it, I'm also thinking to myself, like, wow, what if... Like, it made the flaws in Doctor Strange so much more obvious to me as I watched it, because it didn't fall into the same pitfalls. I found myself thinking, wow, what if the villain of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness had not been an ad for another Disney Plus show / Avengers movie, and instead had been a character that was directly linked to the character of Doctor Strange and his personal story? Wouldn't that have been anything at all? Wouldn't that have been fundamentally more interesting than this guy has to fight an ad for Avengers 9 or whatever? But that's not what we got, so. Am I a Stellaris fan? Well, fan. Fan might not be the right word. Hopeless Stellaris addict is potentially the right word. I won't go on about it. I won't go on about it anymore, Merlin. I really enjoyed it. And if you're sitting there and you find yourself with the choice between Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness or Everything Everywhere All at Once, I recommend the latter of those two films. It is great fun. It doesn't make perfect sense. Like, if you're the kind of film goer who's gonna sit there and be like, you know, if you're like a big Cinema Sins fan and you're gonna start trying to chop apart the logic of it, like, you can do that. You're really missing the point if that's how you approach it. It's it is aggressively nonsensical, and the ending is really quite touching. A meat-eater ham. Oh, spelling games. A huge Stellaris game. That is that's a dangerous proposition. Stellaris multiplayer is well, it's something. We need a series of people who are all okay playing Stellaris at maximum speed for that to happen, because that's the only way that Stellaris multiplayer works. Stellaris Zealot, Fanatic Spiritualist. Have cause, will crusade. Always fucking up my contiguous federations, man. I haven't played Stellaris in a few months at this point. I feel like there has been at least one update, and I think an expansion pack since the last time that I played. A DLC, I guess that's what they're called. I'm exposing my age, using phrases like expansion pack. Have you guys seen the new Brood War expansion pack? Yeah, and that's the thing for Got It Wrong. If you're playing with a group of people, you gotta play it at fastest, or it's insufferable to try to get anything done. Is that true? They start with auto explore? Oh my god, that's so nice. I'm so used to a good portion of my initial time being spent charting out what order I want things explored. Like, you still want to micro at least one exploration ship, because you have to really prioritize, like, habitable systems or systems with lots and lots of mining points. But even so. Haven't construction ships always have auto-build, or am I crazy? I remember for a while being able to tell them to do auto-improvements. Well, you can right-click on a system and just say build all improvements there, but I guess that's not necessarily the same thing. Sentient Pickle, welcome in. It has been a little while, my friend. And also, Mafik, fantastic to see you. It's always broken. Desert Owl, it's always broken. That's the thing about Stellaris, though. Stellaris is not like a tight, balanced, competitive experience. Stellaris, in many ways, is like playing a game of classic Battletech. If you go in expecting, like, this is going to be a balanced, competitive, tight match, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's a random bullshit generator. It is a simulator that is designed in many ways to just give you a series of interesting experiences and setups and see how you are able to respond to those randomized starts. And it's similar with classic Battletech. I feel like that is more of a puzzle game than it is a war game. And have I seen or played the Starship Troopers RTS? Is that old? I feel like there was a Starship Troopers RTS like a long time ago. Is there a new one? I haven't played either of them, either way. I just used both pronunciations of the word either in the same sentence and realized it immediately after doing it. New one just launched last week. I had no idea. I'm way out of the loop on gaming news. I'll have to check that out, though. Is it good, I guess would be my question, Sentient Pickle? See, I remember the old one. I never played it, but I remember it existing. Would you like to know more? If you think you're psychic, maybe you are. New hearts from Yamaha. You pick the heart. And remember, we care. A murderer was caught last night and sentenced today. Execution at 6 p.m. All net, all channels. That bit goes by so fast in that movie. Like, so quick. First of all, the murderer who's on trial, where they're like, guilty, and they just sentence him immediately. The murderer that's on trial in Starship Troopers in that scene he's one of the producers of the movie. And, it took me a while to realize as I was listening to it, they're like, he was caught last night and sentenced today. Like, and then he's being executed tonight at 6. There seems to be a problem there. You hear it is, and we're wondering. Well, I mean, the good news is it available on Steam? Because I'll be the first to admit that a lot of times when things are on Steam, I'll buy them, and I will play them, and I'll set myself a timer for 2 hours, and just do as much as I can inside of that 2 hours, and if I don't like it, boop, refund, get rid of it. Well, Automat Americana, war games can do different things. Different war games are intentionally challenging different skill sets in the player, and some of them can be very puzzle-like. Others can be more like memory games. Some can be almost like reflex games. Like, it really depends on which game it is and what it is you're trying to get out of it. The old one, you could micro-form mechs. Did they have Marauder armor in the old one? Again, I never played it, so I couldn't say. Oh, Amish Stig. Be careful. Be careful with that view around these parts. I mean, I'm totally with you. I'm 100% on Verhoeven's side of that particular argument. But we get a lot of Heinleinites who don't look so kindly on that particular opinion. I'm more of a Verhoevenite than I am a Heinleinoid. See what I mean? Hey, Cookie Mama! Thank you so much for that resub, hitting that 5 months. Cookie Mama, how are you? I have to send you your fucking Vader. I'm sorry. I apologize that the Vaders people won in our last giveaway haven't gone out yet because I haven't painted anything since then. I haven't been up to it. I need to finish the last few steps so I can do my photography and I can put those in the mail to you. But we'll get that going here shortly. Because I was going to send that along with your dice, so you haven't gotten your dice yet either, and I feel like a poo-poo for that. Automat Americana is a Heinlein man. That's okay. I like Heinlein. I've read a lot of Heinlein. Heinlein and Asimov were like my two favorite authors growing up. And I think when I was young, I was more Heinlein, and now that I'm older, I'm more Asimov. And if we're drawing the division between, specifically the Starship Troopers division between Heinlein and Verhoeven, I'm more Verhoeven than I am Heinlein. Well, thank you for saying so, Kursala, and welcome in, by the way. Always Asimov. That's because Asimov was a fucking incredible writer. Oh my god. It was like the movie, but with, like, hero-powered armor suits. So, like the movie, but they went ahead and put the Marauder armor into it also, because the movie very distinctly did not have Marauder armor in it, until you got to Starship Troopers 3. Starship Troopers 3 had Marauder armor in it, didn't it? I think it was it called Marauder? There was Starship Troopers 2, and, these movies were terrible. There was Starship Troopers 2, which was, I think, called Hero of the Federation, and it was, like, such a piece of shit. It was... it was like a... It was like Mutant Species, or one of those really bad movies from the late 80s, early 90s, where somebody would go out... It was basically like Predator came out, and a bunch of shitty filmmakers were like, hey, this movie's just a bunch of buff guys running around a forest shooting at stuff. I can do that. Let's go out into the woods of Northern California. And those movies were so bad. Like Alienator and Mutant Species, and I only think of Mutant Species because Denise Crosby was in it. Oh man, I bet she regretted leaving Star Trek right about then. But yeah, it watches like one of those. They're like, they have like 2 sets, and they're just running back and forth, and there's bugs in it, but it's like one arm of a bug prop that they would stick through a door every now and then and go, ah! Like, it's fucking unwatchable. And then Starship Troopers 3, I think, was called Marauder, and it was genuinely funny. It wasn't a good movie, but they played up the Federation as becoming like some sort of Christo-fascist religious, what's the word I'm looking for? A theocratic institution. And there was like a, like some USO style religious singer guy who got taken over by a brain bug or something, and like it was genuinely funny. It wasn't like really funny, but it was like on the level of funniness, it was slightly above, you know, like sharp exhalation of breath from the nose, you know, the kind of funny. Like it was slightly above that. I think I chuckled a few times, which is honestly high praise, because there's almost nothing worse than a movie that is trying to be funny and failing miserably. That is truly painful. Back 40 Gamer. Thank you. Thank you so much for that Prime sub. Thank you for your support. Why don't we do some 3D modeling? That's what we're here for, right? Why don't we do that?
Why, hello, Mr. Painter Person. Mr. Pun Expected.
Modest chuckle. Yeah, a sensible chuckle, if you will. One of those. Used to be more Asimov, huh? What changed your mind, Automat? I'm curious. Wanted to push an agenda, the author would have probably beaten them into an early grave over... Wait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about Starship Troopers 3? Or are we talking about just Starship Troopers? I don't want to get too much into the subject. It's something that I've talked about a number of times. I like Heinlein, and I think that Heinlein, when he was younger, like, there are a few authors, in my opinion, that you can sort of witness the change in sensibilities of over the course of his life. Because many of them sort of write in a brief window, and then there isn't much outside of that. But Heinlein really kind of wrote. He wrote a lot in his early to midlife, and then he wrote some when he was much older. And like, if you compare something like Farnham's Freehold to something like Stranger in a Strange Land, these books might as well be written by completely different people with totally different sensibility. And not totally different. Like, there's connective tissue between the two, and he was the same person in many respects. Most notably in the way that he would constantly write self-insert characters who were like, and then there was this old guy, and everybody liked him, and a whole bunch of hot chicks wanted to bang him, and he had to constantly rearrange his dick in his pants because it reached down to his knee. And it's like, okay, I get it, Robert. Yeah, that's you, that's fine. Okay, now let's get back to the plot of the book. But if I'm comparing specifically the merit of how Heinlein wrote about military service and how Verhoeven viewed military action and war, I am forced to acknowledge that while Heinlein was, yes, a military man, and I'm not saying that, like, Heinlein was a coward who avoided war. This isn't even remotely true. Heinlein was lucky enough to serve in peacetime and serve as a radio operator. And over the course of that, he developed a lot of funny ideas about military service and the concept of compulsory service. And he sort of dumped those thoughts post-military into Starship Troopers based on what he at the time viewed as sort of like the moral degradation of society. And I don't want to say like it's bad, but it is like it has a validity to it as a thought exercise, but it also has a certain ignorance to it. And Verhoeven never served, but he did experience. Yeah, exactly, Voxel Forge. Thank you. At most, it's wrong-headed. At most, it is, I would call it, naive. And very aspirational, though. And if someone is going to be naive, I vastly prefer that they do it in an aspirational way that at least has validity to it, and that is something that can be respected. But Verhoeven experienced warfare. Verhoeven experienced what it was like to be a civilian at a time when war, if you will, war were declared. And Verhoeven saw the results of bombs dropping. He saw people dying. And he saw the senselessness of it at a very direct and human scale. And so when he is faced with, and I'm not going to say that Verhoeven is completely right about everything he believes either. Verhoeven is an artsy-fartsy nutjob who also made the movie Showgirls. So we're not going to be like, Verhoeven can do no wrong. Oh, Verhoeven can do wrong, has many times. But when he saw the general premise of Starship Troopers, he was like, fuck all this. Like, you want to see war, motherfucker? Okay, we're going to have a bunch of unlikable fucking cartoons ruin their lives over completely senseless combat. And then we're going to look at exploded heads for a little while. And it's his own thing. I think that you can't really even connect the two all that much. They don't have anything really in common except for a couple of names and a broad premise. Would you like to know more? Yeah, and you get a lot of that throughout all of his sort of satirical action movies that he did around that time. I like Paul Verhoeven a lot. I'm a huge fan of RoboCop. I'm a huge fan of Starship Troopers. I'm a huge fan of Total Recall. I like Flesh and Blood. I don't like Showgirls or virtually anything that he has done post-90s. But yeah. Oh, there are, Roland. And that's why I really encourage people to not compare the two visions of those things. Verhoeven and Heinlein had very, very, very different experiences and took away from the concept of military service very different things. And I don't think that either one is necessarily invalid, but I do think that one is a little bit more informed about the human cost of what he was talking about. And I think that that necessarily has a little bit more validity to it, even if what he chose to take from that was like Verhoeven's message was angry. I don't think there's any denying that. We're gonna start with our Shadowhawk, and we're gonna see what we can build from some of these pieces. I'm gonna go DC and Panther until I can come up with another name for it. I might go with Puma, ultimately. That might be what happens. Build a lamb! What's up, O'Coral? How you doing, man? There may be something to that, Automat. It certainly confused the issue. It certainly drew a whole lot of people to be like, what the fuck, this has nothing to do with Starship Troopers. And it has that's the thing, though, is I won't pretend that Verhoeven wasn't taking a shot at Heinlein. I think he was. I think that Verhoeven himself probably felt, what the fuck is this song? This is terrible. Stop that. I think that Verhoeven probably, like, he never even read the book. He read, like, part of it, and then he read, like, the Cliff Notes, and he just went, fuck you. And, I'm not gonna say that is, like, his movie is not an accurate or even a fair deconstruction of the book. It's just his own thing. So in that way, I think I do agree with you. It would probably be better if it was called something else. But you also have to understand that at the time he was making that movie, Verhoeven is like a super duper artsy fartsy fella. And at the time he was making Starship Troopers, he was on the tail end of this period where, like, because if you go back and you watch what he was making at the time, he made, like, RoboCop, and he made Total Recall. And, those movies are, like, sarcastic. They're amazing movies. They're some of the best action movies that have ever been made. So is Starship Troopers. But you get the impression watching them that, like, he kind of hates you for enjoying them. Like, people were saying, you gotta make action movies. You gotta make these action movies with these big stars, and everything's gotta blow up, and there's gotta be blood. And he's like, you don't want a fucking action movie? I'll make you a fucking action movie. Gets turned into a fucking robot, and he becomes a super fascist, and he has a machine gun in his fucking leg. And, like, he wanted everybody to feel stupid for enjoying it, but then we unironically watched it, and we're like, no, this is awesome. Please do more of this. So yeah, it's a weird sort of trilogy of movies to enjoy something and know with almost absolute certainty that the creator of the film probably resents you for enjoying it the way that you do. All right. So folks, somebody remind me here. I want to move everything. And I want to see the origin point, which is down here. Let's go down. The Shadowhawk is 55 tons. The Panther is 25 tons? It is, yes, Vergaderung. Evangelion is a great comparison. Because the creator also loathed what he was making when he made it. He made it to poke fun at the genre itself because he hated it. 35 tons, okay. So probably gonna come up to about the shoulder of my Shadowhawk. I'm just trying to give myself a profile to work with here. Shadowhawk, I got him about 26 wide and about 38 high. I'm thinking about like this. .34, so it'll drop about 4 or 5 millimeters. I'm not really counting the antenna in that. And then about 20 wide. That should be pretty good. You know, Automat Americana, I watched Evangelion when I was very young, when I was first sort of being introduced to the mecha genre, and it's like I liked parts of it, but I didn't understand huge parts of it, and I understand that feeling. I watched it again as a grown man after having gone through a great deal more like life experience, and specifically after having truly experienced specifically depression. And I felt like my understanding and appreciation of Evangelion is much, much greater after having gone through experiences like suicidal ideation. Then when you watch it, you have much more of a connection to the source material, and you're like, oh shit, okay, yeah. This is speaking to me now. You can see Highland's argument that civic investment is important to preventing the fall of Rome-style corruption, decay, ultimately collapse. The military and the family, you know full well that military views itself as we're the skin of the game, but ultimately they're no more right than Nicholas Kerensky was. And yeah, and that's the thing, Amish Stig, is, you know, the reality is going to lie somewhere in the middle there, which is why I think that consuming both of them and appreciating them on that level is probably fairly important. Let me get a look at this guy's leg. Similarly shaped. A little bit more curved. I'll probably just start over with this. Similar dimensions. I might keep the basic knee, but we should probably start with our foot and go from there. Building a Dugram. Bots to beasts. We've already built a Dugram, thankfully. I'm using this as sort of a reference point for this guy, which is what we're going to be working on. Let's focus on one leg for the moment. Or the Battletech ripoff. I've done all the ones from Dugram. Well, not all of them. There are a few from Dugram that I haven't done, but I have done the Dugram itself, the Round Facer, I've done the Blockhead, I've done the Hasty, and I've done the Bigfoot. Yeah, Heinlein and Asimov are very, very different writers, certainly. A full company of pizza mechs. What should my next one be? What's, somebody help me out. Shit, what's it called? First of all, you need to do a Sentinel, because Sentinels, I'm thinking of mechs that have kind of like that wide, flat shape. You gotta do an Irby, you gotta do a Sentinel. What's the one that has the two weird pods that don't do anything? They look like they should be big guns or engines or something, but they don't do fucking anything. I keep wanting to say Crusader, but that's not right. Crusader is the with the big missile pods. It's the Macross mech. Not the Phoenix Hawk, not the Imp. No, it's not that. Hang on. Shit, what's it called? It has a name like Crusader. Ah, it's right on the tip of my brain. It's not the Crusader. It has a flat torso. Shit. I can see it and I can't think of its name, and it's irritating to me. Not the Marauder. No, that's because that's the Zentradi Battle Pod. Or not Battle Pod, that would be the Oss Scout. It's the Zentradi Commander. Not the Longbow. It has like a flat, almost jet engine looking torso, and then on the side, I think between the arms and the torso, it has these long, flattened pods that look like they should be gun pods, but they're nothing. They literally have no, like, they do dick, and then the guns are mounted to the side of that. But it has like a flat kind of torso like this. It's Champion. It's the fucking Champion. That sounds right. Yep. And I'm in my head, I'm thinking pretty specifically of the MWO Champion, because the original design of the Champion isn't quite as egregious, though it still does have the still does have that same kind of look to it. But this is the one I'm thinking of. This would make a great pizza mech. Some of the only models available for it that aren't IWM are going to be the MWO one, and when you see that one, you definitely see what I mean. Like, this baby was designed to toss dough. And I apologize, the weapons are actually on the inside, and then the extra pods are on the outside, and they literally are meaningless. They mean nothing. You could do a fire moth, you know, with the arms, but have the arms like throwing pizza dough. Take some green stuff. Take some green stuff and put it in the fire moth's hands like he's spinning dough. Oh, I make myself laugh. That's wonderful. Jenner wouldn't be a bad choice. Cicada. Cicada would be a perfectly fine choice for doing a pizza mech. You dare refuse my meatball? A blade of shielding when you turn your... Yeah, he just spins the dough at his enemy. And then he says something racist, like, that's a spicy meatball. Alright, what the fuck am I doing? Where's this sketch? Okay, finish that sketch. I don't need that. I'm gonna start with our same basic shape here, and I'm just gonna move it down. How much smaller do I really want it to be? I guess I can adjust this afterwards. But I want the same basic shape for the foot. We're gonna make it a little squatter than it is. It's going to be divided up into that sort of 4-hoof shape that it has. And I think it should actually be widened in the back, so we're going to play with this sketch a little bit. Take the leg away. Is rotate or is it constrained? Nope, that will. Okay. Pop it out by 3 degrees. Set our pivot here. Let's bring this out by 3 degrees also, so we're a little wider in the back. Total 5-degree variance will look good. Oh. There. This will be our basic shape for the bottom of the foot. I like that. Alaric is a bad influence. Realize my favorite variant of the Stalker is effectively a dire catapult. I mean, that's kind of what it, like, is anyway. That's just the fundamental nature of the Stalker. At least in its best configurations. I think a little angle on the back of the foot is going to do this guy well. That's not in the sketch, but I am making this, and I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Drafting work. Bring this in. Really think only 5 degrees is probably going to be pretty good. Maybe 6. Let's try 6. Real gentle with it. Go too little and it doesn't show up at all. Splines and NURBS, my god. I like working with NURBS, honestly. Spoke to one of the sculptors, of the original clan mechs. They used green stuff mixed with milliput to get those super crisp layered edges. Really? I guess that makes some sense. That was just a different era of model making, is what that was. Now, this guy has kind of a sharp toe on him. Give him a 30 degree. He's got sort of a hoof. Seems to be the idea. You actually kind of like that better. I'll always resize it if I want to. In. Not by as much. That's not bad. Oh, I got opinions. You want some opinions? We can give you some opinions. I'm trying to be more positive, you know, about some things these days. Lady B, how you doing, by the way? It's good to see you. Trying to be more positive. Trying to find things that I like, and not just things that make me angry at their very existence, which is unfortunately way too many of them. Lady B, thank you for the reminder. Oh, God. There are plenty of things out there to be irritated about, so we gotta try and find the ones that aren't quite so frustrating. Now, we're gonna have an upward angle on that, but I want to start building the ankle first. So let's make our overall sketch go away here. And then let's just remove almost all these. the beginning of our instep. What you building? Well, we're working in Fusion 360, and we are working on... I should probably have the concept art up, but we are working on this Dougram-inspired D-Scene Panther from JunglePlague. Did I miss the button? Oh my god, I didn't even push it. Oh, I'm such a bad host.
Hello there.
Let's bring it up that far. And let's start futzing with it. This doesn't need to be very strong. That's what you get for being here, like, at the start of the stream, Riot Sister, you maniac. Obi-Wan series just watched on Disney Plus. Now I do have opinions on that. Yeah, I did not like that show. I did not like Obi-Wan. I found it very frustrating. I'm genuinely trying to avoid just going off on that show, because I know it's like... I don't know, lately I just feel... like I've become like a meme. The internet dork who hates on Star Wars. Like it's too much. It's too much at this point. You know what I mean? Got to see the good in it as it sets up a Rebels-inspired future. Yeah, no, it had a... You're right, there was a lot. There was a lot of Rebels in Star Wars Obi-Wan, particularly the part where they just ripped off scenes from Rebels entirely. I found myself on at least one occasion thinking, wow, this scene is great. I liked it the first time when I saw it in fucking Rebels. I feel like this foot is too small, but I can scale it up. Give it a little curvature. Not a lot, just a little. There were a few scenes where I was like, oh, this scene is great. I liked it the first time I saw it in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. God damn it. I guess, you know, that's something. It's not plagiarism when you did it the first time anyway. I don't like it though. It was more earned in Rebels, certainly. I don't know. I've lost the capacity to be objective when it comes to the existence of Star Wars, and I don't know how valid my criticisms really even are anymore. So again, I'm trying to watch new things and just sort of enjoy them for what they are while I've got them. What am I working on today? Art of Bianca, welcome in. How are you? We are fooling with some of our older designs to make something newer and interesting. Working on some, based on some art that one of our community members did. The old rehash. Well, you know, work smarter, not harder. There is that great run of The Boys. Yeah, I'm really enjoying The Boys, Season 3. The Boys is one of those weird examples where I feel like the show is better than the source material that it's based on, and also one of those weird instances where the show, like, has been getting better season by season as opposed to worse, which is unusual to say the least. Yeah, we want to extend the front of the foot out quite a bit before we do this. Oh, Lady B, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, Disney kind of specializes in fan fiction. That's their bread and butter at this point. They purchase the ability to sell you your childhood back to you. They did that some time ago. That's the world we live in now. Oh, you don't want to modify that face, do you? Okay. You want to change the way this is built. There's like an upper surface on it that I kind of like. This is starting to look more like it. Gotta cash in those nostalgia dollars. I mean, shit, they spent $4 billion on Star Wars. I don't blame them for wanting to make some money on it. Doesn't necessarily mean I want to watch it, mind you. Weaponizing, certainly, Wombat. Commodifying to this degree, maybe. Couldn't speak to that. This is 1 full millimeter, that's okay. You might not want to watch them, but you will. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at not subjecting myself to literally all of it. It's like, I understand it, because even as someone who is here like, no, I hate these things. Star Wars is bad. Like, even as that guy, I paid for my month of Disney Plus and I watched it. So, you know, clearly there's something to that. I don't know. I've been comparing Disney Plus to, like, what's the phrase I've been using is dollar store sci-fi. Disney is actively engaged in the process of figuring out just how little money they can get away with spending and how little effort they can afford to put in to get maximum return on their investments. And the answer, as it turns out, is really they can afford to spend... I don't know how much they actually spend on episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It doesn't seem like it could be that much in comparison to even other shows that they've done, because they're using, what's it called? The Volume is that new green screen replacement that they work with, where it's literally just like a curved LED screen that they project their environment onto. So everything feels like it's on a tiny set in front of a LED screen, because it literally is. And they're using the, like, cosplay props as lightsabers. They're not rotoscoping. They're doing mild touch-ups, but they're not doing After Effects on lightsabers to create them anymore. They're just using glowing lightsabers. So they're filming in the dark. They're filming in front of the Volume. They're using cosplay props to light a lot of their scenes, which I think looks like shit. Like, how much money are they really spending? Some of the special effects they did look so fucking cheap. 25 million. See, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, but I hear that and I think, like, somebody's pocketing some of that money. Or the 25 million went into, like, having Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen and licensing James Earl Jones's voice as a machine, because that was not James Earl Jones. The voice of Vader was not. Like, it was, but it was that same thing they did with Luke, where they've got an AI that's basically programmed with a bunch of examples of his voice, and it artificially generates it. Which I guess is the future, whether we like it or not. Costs a lot for hair, maybe. Hated the first fight in the dark where it was just nighttime, but laser swords. It wasn't just that, Kursala. Like, the first fight, which was one of the better written parts of the show, was, like... like, first of all, that first fight literally violated the 180 rule in one of the most egregious ways that I have seen in a production that cost that much money in a long time. That is one of the scenes that makes me think, like, who are these fucking amateurs working on this? Because they literally have a shot where Obi-Wan Kenobi exits screen right and then comes back on screen right. And it's so fucking confusing for a second. It just like, it short circuits your brain when you see it before you realize that we've switched a full 180. And it's like, it's possible to violate the 180 rule if you are an artistic and clever director who's doing something meaningful, but it was a meaningless shift, and it did nothing but short circuit my brain for a short period of time. And then as I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, wow, I haven't seen production values or choices like this since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because it's literally two assholes in costumes with cosplay props fighting each other in a fucking rock quarry. It's not like some far-flung sci-fi expanse, some amazing vista, some visually interesting or thematically interesting location. It's in a fucking rock quarry. This is literally how they shot episodes of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because it's cheap to do. It was unbelievable to me. And yet, it was happening. Oh, this face doesn't want to move. That's okay. Let's just split it on those faces and then fool with it a little bit. That and the shaky cam. Oh my god. So much. Everything that was happening. There were static shots in that show that had shaky cam. There were shots of like Owen and Baru walking through their farm, and the camera's like, oh my fuck, what are you doing? That's Riot Sister, that's not how this works. Nope. Look, it's okay. It's okay. It looked like and watched like a cheap television show, and I guess relative to other stuff that they're producing, it just kind of is. And if you like the show, you know, that's fine. I'm way past the point where I can be angry about things that happen in Star Wars or to Star Wars. Like, I've been hurt so many times that kind of doesn't matter anymore. I had just hoped for more, that's all. And, you know, silver linings. It dropped my standards so low that I went and started watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, and Strange New Worlds is kind of fun. So, you know, it opened my mind to being hurt again, I suppose. Oh, Disney has touched us all, oh Coral. Lower center torso. Through armor critical. No, Kursala, it's just a flat hoof, essentially. It's theoretically possible to put an articulation point in the middle. I'm thinking I could put an articulation point right here so that the heel can shift, but I'm going to leave it for right now. I don't think I want to reuse this. I think I want to go ahead and build a new calf. Which I think I'll probably do. in T-splines. Well, it's not an actual cat, O'Coral. I mean, my kiddo's fancy restaurant ordered my food over 30 minutes ago. Still sitting at the table with no pretend food. Although there's been a pretend kitchen fire. Well, you should pretend to talk to the manager, Happy Heretic. Give the mech toe beans. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right. Let's see. Add in some creases that we can work with. Probably should have just made a box in retrospect, but this will be fine. And then start sort of flexing this around. Given the curvature, I'm probably going to want to add some more edges going upward. Are there any digitigrade oh, shitloads, Wombat Combat. Just absolute tons of them. Tigger got his food first. Well, you need to be understanding, okay? Tigger has had a hard life. You know the wonderful thing about Tigger is that he's the only one. It's a lonely existence. Today I become the meaning of life. Oh, 42. That took me a second, but then it hit me. Wow, this is quite the fantasy that you've got going on in this restaurant. I'd probably leave a pretty terrible pretend Yelp review in that situation. Just bring this up to even out our top here. And we'll worry about the details later. Probably give this a sharp cutoff later, but I'm going to keep it curved for the moment. Definitely want this to sweep in towards the knee. Not too much, though. Now, the nice thing about working with forms in Fusion and doing it this way is that even after I convert it to a body and start taking cuts out of it, I can keep the original form, modify it, and then reconvert it later on. Mostly flat across the front. I think we should flatten this out. There's almost a little bit of a concave shape to it, so maybe I'll drop our center points in. Not much of one, very subtle. Kind of low. In fact, this almost has a little bit of a concave shape to it. I might have to rethink that. Hey, Romeo Void, how you doing? 17 months. You magnificent man, you. Thank you so much for the support. You know what, here, let me do something real quick. I'm over here talking about what I'm doing, but I'm not really showing any of it, and that feels silly. Where is my thingy? I usually have something here set up so that I can have a reference image up. Did I delete that? That's silly. I'll just add one. Hold up, hold up. Battletech, mechs. D-Scene, Panther. That's the one. Oh my god. Hold on. Ah, what a wonderful stream. Meow. Vroom. Vroom. Now let's go ahead and just, that's better. Set this down here so you know what I'm looking at. Much improved. And proportionally a little shorter too, so let's grab those points. Oh shit, I'll do that when you are looking. I fly ships around my office and I make the pew-pew sounds all with my mouth. Hey, how you doing, Techno Sugar? Good to see you. then he'll have a couple of jump jets sticking out of the back of this. The overall shape is okay. I'm going to put a hard edge on the bottom, so I'm not super worried about that right now. I might bring it down some. And I should probably concern myself at least a little bit with what's going on in here. Bring this down again, since I'm just gonna chop it off. All it has to do is have the right curvature. Oops.
Oopsie poopsie.
Picking and clicking. I mean, really, I probably could have just grabbed those two faces and done the same thing, but, you know. We all have our foibles. Convert that to a body. Yeah. I'm definitely going to rebuild this, but for the moment, we get a pretty high angle on the front, going back to the midpoint of the hoof, and a shallow angle going backward. And then we have a fairly high angle coming in from the rear, going to about mid-calf, and then a shallower angle going forward. So let's see what that looks like. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and claim the kneecap from the Dugrum. It has a great many similarities after all. Even it out a little bit and then start working on it. Most notably, we need to even this out. Rather bring it in. Give ourselves some... I'll cut this out later. Right now I just need substance to work with. Now, we're also going to reverse this angle. About like so. Fairly straight up and down. I think I want to flare it out just a touch. Really just a touch. I'm thinking just 5 degrees. I don't do anything nuts. I don't think I like that, actually. Straight up and down seems to be kind of what is called for here. Let's put it in place and then have a look at it. sits forward a good amount. And this angle leads down into the calf. About like so, which I think also calls for a steeper angle on top. About like that. That's looking close. I think a little longer in the front. Hey, X-Braun, good to see you. How you doing? I think a little wider. Not too much. I think this guy might actually be a little tall proportionally, but yeah, in fact, it definitely is. So let's try just a simple scale. Down like so. 10% reduction. Oh, fuck yeah, X-Braun. Interestingly enough, I went back to the cam link today. You might notice I don't have green lines flashing across my face this time. I tried swapping my capture card to another PCI port. I think I just got a bum capture card, so I just went back to my my cam link 4K, and I mean it's a perfectly... It is a perfectly functional piece of hardware. Yeah, there's gonna be some proportion shifting here. Let's make this narrower. I think the height is good. What am I not liking about it? Something about it isn't right. I think it's narrower, just by a little bit. The height is good. Let's knock some corners off. Yeah, I didn't think you'd let me draft that curved face, not off of a form conversion, but that's okay. I can modify that if I need to, if I want to, which I think I do. I think I do. Let's bring our form back. We should modify the foot first. Really just concerned with proportions right now, and I'm going to worry about details later. Even that starts to help. Make the foot look just a little beefier, yeah? A little more functional. While still being smaller than the Dugram, and we can see the knee joint is significantly lower, so this guy's already going to be shorter. I'm picturing the pelvis right about here as opposed to up here, which is roughly a head shorter. Torso is going to be probably around the same height. You don't want to make the... because a lot of the height is naturally in the legs. Outside your apartment complex, what's the code to get in? We don't live in a complex. There's no complex anywhere near us. Well, I hate to be the guy to tell you this, Happy Heretic. I don't think you're going to be getting your pizza soon, based on that information. do I want it more flared? Can it hurt? Let's see. What if I flare this more? Five-degree flare, and then bring it in 0.15. Bring this back. Straighten that. Bring this in narrower. Flare this wider. Yeah, now this is starting to look a little bit more like what I'm thinking. DeTomaso. Really, explain it to me, JunglePlague. And no, a name has not been chosen yet. Some have been thrown around. I really, by the way, appreciate the sort of curvatures that you worked into, specifically the legs, because a lot of what I really like about the Dugram designs is I'm a bit of a calf man. I really like the curves in the Dugram mechs, particularly in the Thunderbolt. Hang on, let me put this into Google. Oh, I see. And what they're best known for is their Pantera. I like that. I'm gonna put that actually as top of the list. I think that's a fantastic name. It's a very oblique reference that I think gearheads will probably get. And tell me, JunglePlague, am I correct when looking at this that you intended there to be a slight, very, very slight concave curvature to the front of the calf, to the shin? Afro Cigar, I hope that they performed up to your expectations. Okay, just making sure that I'm reading that right then. Trying to give him this sort of bell-bottom shape that I like so much. And that seems to be straight enough. Bring this in ever so slightly. There we go. Alright, let's try this. And let's make our cuts. This is starting to look more like it to me. Something about the knee isn't quite working for me yet, but I'm going to add in some more pieces before I make a decision on that. Bell bottoms and PPCs, all you need in life. And yeah, Cigar, we're hoping to have more Conquest bases available soon, TM. Some more styles. Let's go ahead and drop this in, give it a little bit of detail. I do try to make them, you know, everything I make really exists because I play these games. I play tabletop games, and it frustrates me when my components are fighting with me. I like my components to work with my game. Oh, I used to. Oh my god. I was a San Antonio gamer, Cigar. What game stores do you go to? Out of curiosity, please enlighten me. Where is Conquest being played in San Antonio? First of all, Wombat Combat Prime is in the area, as is another regular of ours, Rockin' Robin Workshop. But Battle Pub, is that new? I realize, like, I've been gone for like 3 years now, I guess, which is still weird to think about. But I used to go to Tabletop, which then became Court of Gamers, and then I was a frequent at Nightwatch Games. And then, of course, Dragon's Lair, which is kind of unavoidable. Oh, ho, 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 I see. So you know well the ways of the Wombat. Well, it didn't take as long as I had feared, Happy Heretic. I'm glad that you finally got some pizza. I guess I'll just bring it straight down out of this. Can't think of a compelling reason not to. San Antonio has a pretty good gaming scene, though. The whole time I was there, it was never, compared to other places I've lived, it was never that difficult to get a new game going. So I'm not surprised and kind of inspired to know that Conquest is taking root down there. Just opened this year, and they have beer. Oh my god. My jealousy is, it's indescribable, really. I need to give myself a construction plane here. I'm gonna just keep needing it and keep not having it and feel stupid. You know, dumber than I already feel anyway. Nope, that's the wrong plane to offset. Stop doing that. Go there. Thank you. This L leg mid, and then make that disappear for the moment. Let's narrow these down. Since they're raised, they don't have to be that wide. Since they're raised and connected on both ends, I think that should actually work. And let's deepen them slightly. Let's give him 5 degrees. Okay. Alright, this is starting to work. The meat of the foot here, the instep, this is definitely going to have to be reworked. I'm least happy with that. I think that it needs to be taller. Not too much taller, though. A little bit taller. Like if I move all of this, which should be a component by now, but it's not. Half a millimeter? God, that seems extreme. Half a millimeter seems pretty extreme, you guys. This is what 3D design has done to my brain. It's really not too bad, actually. And actually, we'll probably give the foot a good amount of flexibility. It's just this front surface curvature I'm not stoked on. Can I bring it out, or are you going to resist me? No? Okay, you will. A half a millimeter is a lot when you're making something. Because, like, let's remind ourselves here, this thing is going to be this big in reality. So it's a lot. This is a small model, which is, and this is what I'm talking about too when I talk about like how when you watch Ion Raptor do his work, or when you take a look at the work from Metalcore Collectibles, the way they build their detail, because it is so tempting when you're designing in 3D, because you're like, you know, my huge monitor is completely filled with this, and I'm like, yeah, let's do a detail here and a detail here, and like, it's tempting to forget. Let's click on this. That is 3.8 millimeters. 3.4 millimeters. 0.87 millimeters. Like, it's real easy to get lost right here and forget that it's going to be this size. You don't want to do too much. Security breach. I'm immediately reminded of like Strong Bad. The system is down. The system is down. Alright, I'm okay with how this is coming together. What about the thighs, JunglePlague? Are you picturing any curvature to the thighs, like maybe just along the side, a soft curve on the outside? I'm not thinking anything quite so rounded as on the blockhead, but maybe not as blocky as the Dugram itself. Something with flat fronts and then a soft curvature on the side. That's what I'm thinking anyway. That is correct, Shock21. At this scale, a millimeter is about a foot, so a half millimeter is about 6 inches. Let's do a quick sweep, like so. Ooh, I didn't want to go that far. Whoopsies. I'm going to leave a little meat here to work with. Kind of envisioned something like somewhere between Dugram and Blockhead. So yeah, I'm thinking flat fronts and then a soft curvature to the sides. It doesn't need to be much. It does not need to be much. And then I'll use my discretion when it comes to the knee joint, because I really need to build the knee joint with posability in mind. Let's throw some placeholder jump jets on here and start to get an idea for what this is going to look like. God, this is throwing me. Just not loving the way this one piece is coming together. Let me see. Maybe just 5. That's better. I'll leave it for now. Keep building the big parts. I don't know, Pity. I really like the four-toed hoof design, and specifically the way that this shape is, it harkens to the Kunio Okawara school of design. Now, I am thinking, JunglePlague, that I'm probably going to cut this section of the foot out and put a little servo in here so that the heel can rotate slightly, and that way I could do like a walking pose where the heel is lifted up just a little bit, but maybe just a rotation right here in the middle. Oh my god, 8-bit sweater, are you saying 8-bit? Are you telling me that there is a gray sludge, mindless corporate product out there that you are not enthralled by? That's amazing. I'm pretty sure 8-bit sweater actually wrote Obi-Wan Kenobi, for the record. I've heard that Jurassic Park whatever is about locusts and not actually about dinosaurs essentially at all. This is what I've heard. He did have a hand making sure he could use the Force to bend water and hit people with a big splash. I mean, that was definitely my favorite scene. I guess I could feel the 8-bit all over that one. You gonna resist this because of my custom curvature? You're not? Oh my god, you are amazing today, Fusion. It's never entirely clear what Fusion is gonna just straight refuse to do. Let's make ourselves another quad ball. If it isn't name brand, it's not good. What? Oh my god. Oh no. That's. I can't. Okay, yeah. I neglected to set up my RoboCop buttons on this particular overlay, but I wanted to hit you with a little Verhove, and you can have this instead.
Ass crackling thunder spunk. Yeehaw!
JunglePlague, thank you so much for hanging out, man, and I appreciate the insight. I'll show you what we wind up with. I'm probably going to be plugging away on this guy for a little while before we get him totally done. Hey, Gus Schultz, good to see you. Oh, yeah, actually, you know what? Good idea. Now, this thing does autosave to the cloud, which is nice, but I might as well just go ahead and save this. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do, folks? What I fucking keep telling myself I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take a short break real quick, get up, stretch my legs, get myself some more water. I'll be right back, and we will continue crafting these curvy mech thighs. 8-bit, don't go anywhere. You're here. You came into chat. You're stuck in chat now for the duration of the stream. I hope you appreciate that this is entirely a self-inflicted injury. I'll see you in a minute. name brand weed. Jesus, 8-bit. I'm all about that Kirkland, bro. Kirkland, bro? Kirkland? That's the shit. Just like my jeans. Oh god, excuse me. Alright, let's keep fooling around with this. Oh, by the way, hey Sumitha, good to see you. How high up are we going? Probably about here. I'm just gonna guess about here. Hope we got some nice, useful rain. We got a little bit last night. Enough that the plants are... Well, combine the fact that we got some rain last night with the fact that all day today it's been, like, overcast and cool out. And for the first time, my plants have actually been able to absorb the moisture, as opposed to just all of it evaporating right the fuck out. So, yeah, it's been a good day for the local plants. And I'm quite thankful for that. Reminds me, let me check real quick. So I think tomorrow's gonna suck again. It's been like 65, 70 all day today. And then I look out at the 10-day forecast, and it's like 86, 95, 95, 86. Fuck my face. We had a couple of nice days. I guess that's all we get. Bastards. I'm sorry, Toby and Lord. That's terrible. That's terrible. I hate the heat. How'd your stream go the other night? I wasn't able to stick around. But I hope it was fruitful, regardless. Oh yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, I got outside and did a lot of outside work today because I figured like this is one of the rare times for the next while that it's actually going to be pleasant to be outside. So I went out and I fired up the Kubota and got the brush mower going and I did some watering and just you know, everything is going to completely fucking suck tomorrow. Wearing cargo shorts and a green Legend of Zelda t-shirt. I mean, the real question that you're not asking, 8-Bit Sweater, is what if Zelda was a grill? What then? What would that mean? What if Zelda was Robot 2? I don't want this to be too extreme. Let's bring these in similarly here. Them's some thick thighs. We don't need them quite that thick. That thickness is extreme. Something like this. We're getting closer. It's a part of the next initiative that EA is initiating. To use redundant language, which is you have to open the loot boxes to get a code, which then allows you a chance to purchase the DLC. It's sort of a bold new effort on EA's part, and we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. This would be good weather for swimming. It's true, it would be. I haven't gone swimming anywhere in, man, like since well before the pandemic started. This is a pretty good thigh shape for this robot. I am liking this. Gonna need to drop this in though. It has that just slight curvature to it without going too far overboard. Are the proportions bothering me? Are they just about right? I think maybe a little bit shorter. Yeah. I mean, swimming is fucking fantastic cardio when you can do it regularly. Now, I mean, that said, we do need to do the track-suited Bigfoot at some point. Maybe the same shape, but a bit narrower overall. Like if I grab all these points. Bring it in by 0.2 for a total 0.4 reduction. That kind of drops it into the knee joint. That looks pretty good, really. And then the pelvis will sit right about here instead of right here, which I think lines up with the height difference that I'm looking for. Pizza and MTG with the Yee. Oh my god, did you win the fucking lottery? Because it's lottery. Because his name is Yee. So the joke is you put his name. It's okay. It's okay. You get it. You get it. Yeah, it's a good joke. It's a good joke. We want to narrow the top. I'm gonna say it's been a long day. I'm tired. You're not getting my best braining right now. Yeah, true Matt Yee aficionados recognize the pedigree of this line of humor. Pedigree. Yes. Oh, don't do that. Not multi. Just vertices, thank you very much. There we go. Let's try working with this as a body. Give it a curved cut in here. We can work the knee into, and that will give it some more flexibility. No. No! Bad! It's not even funny. It was never funny. And then when I build the knee joint in here, I'll have some actual flexibility to be able to bring this back. And I may even go ahead and flatten this edge out just a little bit, 0.5 millimeter. That way I'll be able to give it a kneeling pose without having to do too much insanity. I'm definitely a bit of a yeeaboo, if you will. Which, I can't believe he hasn't seized on that name for his community. He just calls us degenerates, which is technically accurate, but not as fun. I'm gonna look at this. How do I feel about my proportions? That's pretty good. I guess we can keep going. Let's at least put our work so far into a component so we can start doing some meaningful construction. Do away with left leg and let's go leg basic. Let's make ourselves a copy. Make that copy independent. Call that left leg proto. And then let's give it that 7-degree shift. Let's take the proto away. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted it to do. What the fuck is this? Oh. Oh, I know what happened. Whoopsies. Okay, yeah, make the proto go away. There we go. Now we'll give it the 7-degree shift. Make this leg go away. Of course, I mixed these up, but that's okay. It really doesn't matter. Here are our basic panther legs starting to come together. Get a quick basic render on them. Get a feel for how they are looking. BZV, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Also, Afro Cigar, I think I missed your follow a little bit ago. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome both of you fine folks to the Storm Chasers. I think the proportions are all working out pretty good on this so far. I don't feel the need for any major changes, which is just kind of what I wanted to get a feel for here. I think all the primary shapes are working out decently. The feet are a little bit off. I'm definitely going to change the instep. I think going from a convex to a concave surface. Because it's a concave surface on the front of the shin, and I think matching that on the instep is just going to look better. Because right now it looks funny, doesn't it? It's like an S shape. Whip, whip. That's not right. It needs to be matching shapes for those two. Oh, well, I didn't read it. How you doing today, Sumatha? I hope life is treating you well. The thing I like most about these legs is they seem like they'll be fairly posable. Particularly if I do that break there. But that has me thinking, if I'm gonna have a break between the halves of the sort of hoof feet, I should do something else with the instep to allow that to either flex as well or just have a cut in so that it doesn't look unnatural when it happens. Hey, if you got out there and you gave it your all and you had fun, like, that's what matters. The real victory was the friends we made along the way. Alright. Alright, let's keep going. Let's have a look at the Dugram pelvis. Which is obviously too large at this point, but the panther pelvis. Is that was it? That was too much for you, Coral? Okay. It's good to know you've got a limit. The pelvis actually seems kind of more similar to the round face. Here, let's have a look at that. No, I guess not. Well, it does insofar as it has this little connection piece, but the rest of it really isn't. Who am I thinking of that has a pelvis like that? Bushman? I haven't looked at the Bushman in a while. Let's have a look. The Bushman's kind of similar. Well, let's just start from scratch. Start from the center and work out from there. The crotch is my domain. Now he's got a real long codpiece on him, which is just fine. Pelvis is probably gonna top out. There, and then come lower in the center. More like that. I should have just shifted the whole thing 1 millimeter downwards. That's starting to work. Yeah. Yeah. Yo. Okay. Now start working the other basic shapes up. out like so. Give it another chamfer. Cut the whole thing in. The edges. Start building out the hips. It should connect towards the bottom. Come out past here, not too far, come up at an angle, and then sort of just connect in at the top, and then we can modify from here. Ah, God, my nose is itching like crazy. Started painting my Carnival set today, working on the Cappuccino hero for the Thieves Guild and one of the slaves for the Cthulhu monsters. I hope we get to have a peek at that. It sounds like an interesting set. Seven, 6 degrees. Actually want to bring this physically forward. How far forward does the pelvis come on the Dugrum? Yeah, see, it's pretty far. Maybe not quite that aggressive, but there. And that way I can draft this out a little sharper without losing definition. Let's give it something funny. Eight. Not bad. Not bad. Drop that angle in. Bring this down. Bring this out. That's similarly, like so. And this can come further out. Getting there. Getting there a bit at a time. Got a very old set because the resin minis were not great, not fail cast, but not much better. Resin casting is so... It's so dependent on the individual abilities of the people actually doing the casting. It's definitely not my favorite method of mini making at this point. Let's just move everything forward. Need to encompass the front of the thigh piece. Now that said, we are hoping that these de-seen designs that we're working on for these mechs, we should be able to make these available in ScioRes, which is very exciting. We're still waiting to hear back from our caster how much it's going to cost us to make those conquest bases available in ScioRes, but the tests casting has been done and they've come out and they look fucking fantastic. What'd you did, Wombat? Do I want to know? Just based on the conversation thread, I'm not entirely sure. I will trust you and your judgment, as much as that may be a mistake. Alright, this is going to be where our pelvis, and we got to build our hips. And this obviously needs more work, but the general shape is okay. Oh, we're gonna get to see in a few minutes, is what you're saying, Wombat. Okay, alright, I see how it is. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just stick a piece here to get an idea for how it's gonna look. Actually, I can just do that with the chamfer tool. Why would I bother doing a cut? Work smarter, not harder, huh? Flip that. Down and out to something much softer. 20 degrees, and actually get rid of that. There we go. Here's the basic shape for the hip plate. Now let's shift it in and up. Already improves the look. So I'll get worked on more later. For now, let's just block this in to keep an idea for our proportions. How you doing, Elise? We're working in Fusion today. Starting here, come across out to here. Bring it back at a slight angle, drop it in along the hip plate. A little sharper here. Up. Dropping in about 15 degrees. This is starting to get there. Let's check out the rest of the dug room next to it. Get an idea for, yeah, it would still be significantly taller. I think from 55 to 35 tons, it's going to look about right. You know, you can always scale it if needs be. Scaling is easy. Trying to avoid getting out of bed. I mean, just, you know, burrito harder. I'm going to consult with JunglePlague for an idea of what the back of the pelvis should look like, but there's, you know, this is a basic concept here now. Alright, we can get started on the torso before we run out of time tonight. It looks more rounded for the connection here. So let's bring this in by 0.3, and then let's just go ahead and knock some of these corners off. A little harsher than that. Start building our abdomen. Give it a little height to work with. Probably use this as a flex point for doing more organic pose work. Alright, basic shapes of the torso. Angled flat across the front. The actual chest is the SRM4. Let's think about that. Don't need to worry about the cut-in yet. It's a very similar shape, nearly identical shape to this. So maybe that's where we should start. Some differences. Notably on the ratios. Let's bring this in to start with. Okay. Scale it back out. Why do you do this? Why do you do this to me, Fusion? Just because I manually entered a value one time. There, that's kinda more what I'm thinking. Not only that, but we want this to start going out. This should almost be narrow. I'm gonna have to futz with this a fair amount, I think. But that's okay. That is the nature of this. You just futz with it until it looks right. But this is a good start. Nipple tube. No, they're not, like... I mean, I guess if it's a cat, they are kind of like cat nipples. Oh no. Oh no. Why? Why does this always happen? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I'm not even remotely pleased. I guess bring this out more because I want it narrower. Now I can start to kind of build the other pieces on top of it. I think that's actually pretty good. Where are we relative to the Dugram's torso? Only just getting up into its midriff, so if I build the rest of its chest here and its head here, I'll be about one head shorter. So I'm pretty much right in line with the proportions that I had envisioned when we started. Yes, Data Nerd, please, like in the back of the head. Someplace where it's not dangerous, but it does hurt, or at least annoy. Because that never needed to be said, and now it's just in my head, and I'm going to think about it all the time. And I resent the shit out of that. Alright, now for building the shoulders. Let's take a look at the Dugram torso. They have a real high upward slope to them, so the highest point should be about there, and they're going to extend relatively far out and down. This is going to be the entirety of its... That's a good start. I think we can work with this. Reload, try again. I believe in you, Data Nerd. Unfortunately, 8-bit, yes, it does appear that is happening, not by choice, not by design, but just sort of as a matter of inevitability. Because we cannot escape our degeneracy, no matter how hard we try. This is just our lot in life. Okay. Now if I assume, let's see, the missile launcher, if I assume the missile launcher top is here. End this just above it. Bring this this curve to be too much, but that is not bad there. So let's work with that. Cut that off. Bring this up. Get off my screen, bug. What are you doing in my house? You know, you would have been fine until you got my attention. That looks pretty good. Hey, how you doing, Mafik? It's good to see you. This into, I think, a little sharper, and the rest is actually pretty good. And then I think if I draft this face just a couple of degrees, ooh, no, I don't like that. What if we do a move instead of a draft? Will you keep your edge or will you narrow? It's because I did a chamfer, so it's like it's a modified face as opposed to a standard face. How could I change that? I don't strictly hate it this way. This gives me a good wide area because I got to build my shoulder joint here, so you know it looks big and empty. But if I just start by putting a shoulder cylinder in here as a placeholder, having all this extra space is actually pretty helpful. As far as depth goes, I have to go ahead and compare it to the Dougram torso again. It's about the same. It's a little narrower. I think that proportionally that works well. Curve is a little softer, but then it should be. Maybe we drop this in a little bit. Not much. Not much. Give it 5 degrees. Give it 5 degrees and then bring it out just so that it's at least even with the rest of the back. It doesn't have to come back further because I'm going to put a backpack on him. And it looks like there should be a chamfer on the top of the shoulder here. So let's bring it down a little bit and angle it up 30 degrees. Let's go ahead and mirror this out to give him some symmetry. Starting to get there. It's almost a little large. Everything down by 0.5. It's feeling pretty close. Dwegham, thank you so much for the subscription. Thank you for the support. How you doing today, Dwegham? They're in the same house, Automat. Just like, yes. They're shooting each other with nerve darts and then bragging about it in a Twitch chat. It's, this is the modern world. This is the world that we live in. Every day we stray further from God's light. Visualize my SRM4 here. I actually don't want to do that. I want the angle to be straight back, so we're going to do a sweep instead of an extrusion. Not negative 0.3. You got confused. I understand. It's okay, Fusion. I am doing quite well, and thank you for asking, Dweghan. No, yeah, 0.8 is a pretty ideal size for an SRM. Again, let's... Well, no, this should be... Yeah, we'll use sweep. Put a little fillet on. For our fucking nipple missiles. God damn it. Now, my torso proportions are not as spot on as I'd like. Maybe if I move these in or even narrow them some, I'm going to wind up getting closer. 0.5 in. 0.5 in. Already looking better to me. Let's fix this draft. I don't like how this turned out. Close. We're close. Proportionally close. Now we're starting to look better, so our shoulders aren't... Like, they'll be hanging off anyway, but we don't necessarily want the torso to be that much wider than the hips. Well, shit, though. We are at just about 8:30, which is time for the storm report, and this is some pretty decent progress. I think it does need more of an hourglass figure, which is why I'm thinking specifically this is going to get drafted in a little bit more. This angle is not quite sharp enough. I want to narrow the actual waist slightly, but I like the shoulders to the hips. And I think the legs are looking pretty damn good. Let's have a quick look at it. At our basics here. Yeah, proportionally the torso needs to be reworked. I think it needs to be dropped in a little bit. The shoulders are a little big. It's going to look better once the kind of neck piece and the head gets blocked on there. Everything always looks funny when it's missing full body parts. But all in all, it looks light, it looks quick, it looks fairly agile. I think that we can push that more. I think the pelvis needs to be made a little bit more sleek and angular. It's a little blocky across the front, it's a little flat. It needs to be swept back some, and I think along with that, narrowing the waist is also going to increase its kind of like light, agile look. The legs I'm pretty happy with. I think I could flare out the bell bottoms a little bit more than they are right now. Yeah, I think that's probably true, Elise. The torso is a little tall, but that's not too difficult to rein in. Bring the torso down a little bit, narrow the waist. I think drop the pelvis slightly, put the thighs a little bit more into the pelvis. Not bad, though. It needs some proportion shifting before I build any more parts, before I start on the arms. Thankfully, the arm design is, like, really fucking simple. So that's not going to be difficult to do. And then I need to put on the backpack, strap a PPC to one arm, and then look up Panther variants. And actually, folks, those of you out there who are Battletech fans who have been hanging out watching me build this, what is your favorite Panther variant? I want to know. Jump on the Discord, go into the Giant Stompy Robots channel, and let me know what your favorite Panther variant is so that I can make sure I get that built into these files. We're doing the standard Panther with the SRM4 and the PPC, but I know there are a few others out there, and I'd like to hit the most popular ones. Hey, Ion Raptor, good to see you. Big fan of the EVA. Oh yeah, we'll be sure to give him the energy box cutter. That is obviously a very popular weapon among battlemechs. Well, I mean, that makes sense for Gadarung. The Panther literally can't mount that many weapons. It's a 35-ton mech. There just aren't that many variants that you can do, but I want to make sure that I hit all the necessary hard points for any of the more popular versions. I'm almost thinking just shrinking the torso in general is going to be the move. I definitely going to drop the pecs in and angle them. Oh, you know what? You know what's throwing me off? What I didn't do that's absolutely necessary. There's no angle at all to the front here. And there should be. See that? That's hugely important, and I just completely neglected it. Oh, yeah. And then drop it in a little bit. Like, that already makes a massive difference. I don't know why I wasn't seeing that before. Oh yeah, that's the funny thing is little things like that can make a big difference in how it looks overall. Is the link for Discord expired? Crumbs. Hang on, I can update that. I guess I haven't for a little while. It shouldn't. I would swear I set that one to never expire. But let me update it right now. never expire. No number, no limit to the number of uses. Generate a link. Thank you. Maybe I just didn't update the bot when I updated the rest of the Discord links. Either way, we might as well do it now. Submit. Okay. Try that again, if you don't mind terribly. That's just a useless feature then, Cookie Mama. Try that link. See if that... I mean, it should work. I literally just generated it. And that should drop you into the welcome channel as well. Alright, let's save this. He's really just going to be a little fella. And you put it next to... Let's bring this in real quick. Is that too small? I don't know. Probably not. That's probably pretty good. That TPC is really gonna weight one side of it quite a lot. I think scale-wise that's pretty good, because the top of its head is gonna be around about here, which again matches up with my initial projections of putting it kind of a head shorter. Maybe shortening the torso, actually, because the head, yeah, the head's gonna add a lot. Yeah, simple scaling isn't tough, Sumatha. That's why, like, this part I'm not really particularly worried about, because all this can be modified after the fact. In fairness, the proportions on the Dugram are pretty wacky, too. But, you know, I tend to, because I'm making 6mm models, I tend to sort of exaggerate things anyway, because if it was perfectly proportional, if it was everything just so, it would actually look odd at that size. This is just the first light mech that I've made. I've made a bunch of medium and I've made a few heavy. And I mean, the heavy are significantly larger. Like, let's go ahead and just real quick, while we're here, let's pull the Bigfoot in here and see how he measures up. Got a real mama bear, papa bear, baby bear thing going on here. That's fucking... This makes me think I should, when I get the Panther done, I should do a version of it where the Bigfoot is just, like, ripping one in half with its fucking bare hands. It is so much larger. But then again, this should be, like, weight-wise, this is 100 tons, this is 35. Well, I got a mech with Sasquatch hands at the very least, Drakari. It is called the Bigfoot, after all. I think that matches up, though, about Shock. That, and if I'm being totally fair too, I base these proportions less on the Battletech tonnages and more on the... Oh, I apologize, 85 tons. I base this less on the Battletech tonnages and more on the size differences that they had in Dugram. And then I think I bumped the Battlemaster up a little bit after that, too. But yeah, you know, if this to this is cutting off 25 tons, and bearing in mind that a good portion of that tonnage would be made up for in the fact that the Shadowhawk has a massive weapon system hanging off of its back, on top of everything else, and for that matter, the backpack. This is also going to have a little backpack. This is pretty good. And yeah, I can always scale it up or down as I see fit. I'm just reminding myself not to, like, I'm considering I'm probably going to add some details into these limbs and pieces, obviously, but man, the Bigfoot, the name really is really appropriate when you look at the size of the goddamn feet. Look at that. The Bigfoot is one bottom-heavy bitch. Yeah, and that's, you know, that's the classic argument, Sumatha, is density to internal volume and blah, 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 blah. Honestly, when it comes to, like, oh, how big should it be based on the tonnage? I use that in my head just to kind of generally size them, but when it comes down to specifics, like, it's nonsense. They use impossible materials like Myanmar. They can weigh fucking whatever we want them to. As long as it looks right as far as, you know, assault, and, I mean, we can put a heavy in there, too. We have that ability. It's filled with magic and unobtainium, and short-range missiles. Hasty is 65. And let's have a look at how he measures up. Stop doing that. You... What the fuck? Okay, there we go. That was weird. My controls just changed for no reason and then changed back. Okay, so now we have assault, heavy, medium, light lined up here. And yeah, that seems about right. Admittedly, the Thunderbolt, the Hasty, is big. And its proportions are all fucking crazy. It's built more like a gorilla than a human being, with as far down as its arms reach compared to the rest of its body. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be Sumatha. Proportionally, the Thunderbolt, the Hasty, is barely humanoid. I really looked at the proportions of its thigh to calf and then its arms, like, they're nuts. But this is how it was originally designed, and so that's how I made it. Still scale the Panther up a bit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is once it's done, it's as easy as grabbing it and adding 10%, you know? All of them look kind of goofy until you start posing them a little bit. When they're just standing there staring, as opposed to, like, here. With him flipping the bird. I love this one. I really do think that the Hasty Thunderbolt is just... It's such a classic. Yeah, you gotta add something. You gotta add a little character to it, you know? Put a little mustard on it. I do like this pose. It's the fact that he's both pointing his gun and flipping the bird at the same time. It's tactically effective. It's a tactical bird. All right, fine. We got some storm reporting to do. Let's pull these out of here. Turn that to its normal spot. Make it disappear. So we have just what we're working with on the Panther. I do like posing my digital toys, I'll have you know, but I believe it is time to see what y'all have been posting since Thursday. And a little bit since the beginning of the month, since we're doing our before and after first. Let's see what projects people have been working on.
All right, locusts and gentlemen,
note.
get ready to feast your eyes on glurp paint and wet palettes with the occasional culinary atrocity thrown in on tonight's Storm Report, brought to you by viewers like you.
All right. Let's start with our befores and afters, shall we? Triggered finger, if you will. Here we have, starting first from Mafik. You remember the harem art I made on the previous report? Oh, do we? I was supposed to post it on the next report, but I attached with other unfinished art that I made. This is... Yes, I remember when we started with this one. Oh, and we got colorized and some more details and texture added. I continue to like this. This reminds me of, what was that boss in Contra where you go into the room and then, like, a giant metal fist punches through the wall and, like, pulls it open and you're fighting a giant Terminator skeleton in the background? Man, Contra had some fun bosses back in the day. I did, Shock. It's almost like I occasionally do things. Well, shit, nice progress, Mafik. The pose in the middle, this just like, oh my god, do you see the shit that I put up with? This one's drunk, for God's sake. Oh my god. Nicely done, Mafik. Good designs all around, and I just, it takes me back. It gives me a little dose of nostalgia. Here we have from Gimishkar, where we started this... Not often, but every now and then I find myself regretting encouraging people to make art. This is very, like, Cronenberg / 80s John Carpenter The Thing-esque. Because there's clearly a human torso here, and literally nothing else about this is right. It's... And then there's this. Why the hell is this a thing? Okay. And then we add shading. And it becomes even more unsettling as we can tell that there appears to be teeth and a bit of a tongue and an eye, like the head has lolled off to the side and it's still wearing a shirt and... Gimishkar, does your insurance plan cover, like a therapist? Is that a thing? 'Cause, yeah, yeah, you know, okay, let's see what Sphere's been working on. Let's see what Sphere got up to over the break. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, we've been working on... Oh, that's right, we got a peek at this on the last Storm Report. But got this done over the course of the break, and it's always wonderful to see something go from primed to painted, and I continue to love the color choices that we've made with these Tyranids. In general, I know we were talking before about the sort of fade that we have on the webbed skin between the Fingledingles, which is the phrase that we have agreed to use. All in all, this came out just wonderfully. Now, I'm gonna pause here for a moment to note something. We're going to have a little bit of a deviation tonight in how we generally do the Storm Report, and I need to apologize to you guys in advance for this. Something has come up locally with a family member of mine, and I am going to have to step away a little bit earlier than I usually do. And I am terribly sorry for that. So what I am going to do is we're going to finish up the last few entries that we have here for the before and after Storm Report. And those of you who have submitted to the standard Storm Report tonight, Sumitha, oh my god, really? Oh, this is just something that we're doing because we took a stream break, Toby and Lord, in addition to the normal Storm Report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the Storm Report channel, the standard Storm Report channel, open tonight, and we're going to roll your entries forward to Tuesday, and I do apologize for that, for those of you who have been wanting to see your work and get some feedback, but we're going to do it just as if we had a canceled stream normally. So you will get to go ahead and make another entry for Tuesday's Storm Report, and we'll just take a little bit of extra time, and we will go over all of them on Tuesday's stream. And I do apologize for announcing that so late. Generally, I don't have interruptions or changes during the stream, but I'm kind of just adapting as we go here. All right. Here we have from Rocket Robin Workshop. Before and after for DC, Larfleeze, the Orange Lantern. First of all, interesting build on it. What? Is this resin? Who made this model? This can't be like Night Models, who does most of the DC lines, unless they've started working in resin as opposed to just metal. Is Night Models making resin figures now? Robin? Okay. God damn. Oh, this came out nice. Oh my god, I love this. I didn't realize that's what was on his base. Okay, Robin, real quick, what is the core emotion of... They're doing Psyocast now? That is a huge leap forward for Night Models. That is news to me, and that is exciting, because I have avoided Night Models because it's all metal, though they do beautiful sculpts. If they're doing Psyocast, I'm going to turn around and start taking a look at their new shit, because they do great sculpts, and I love that material. Okay, so Orange Lanterns are greed, which explains why he has covetously gathered lanterns of many other colors, including... Hold on. The magenta, that's, Star Sapphire, isn't it? Does Star Sapphire... Do they have lantern batteries? I thought they didn't have lantern batteries, but I'm not a big Green Lantern guy, so I can't say for sure. I challenge the canon correctness of your model, sir. Can anyone tell me if that's true? Because I would swear that Star Sapphire didn't have them, but I could be very wrong. But we've got yellow, we've got blue, we've got red. Now, are they... I'll have to take a look at what Night Models is doing in Psyocast. Have they got any of the Red Lantern Corps in Psyocast? Because I would paint the shit out of a Psyocast Atrocitus. Like, I think the Red Lantern Corps is just cool as shit. They have some really, really tragic characters in the Red Lantern Corps. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Ren. I like the manifestations, too. Really well done with that. All in all, this is a lovely paint job. The flame effects that you've done here, Robin, these are some of the best I've seen you do. This is really, really evocative. All in all, an incredibly well done figure. Minus the continuity error. Minus Rockin' Robin's unfortunate lack of knowledge about the finer points of the Lantern Corps of the DC Universe. And for that, I am going to have to deduct 5 Thunder Points, which are redeemable for nothing, and I don't know what the exchange rate is. Just for the record. So make an update to what I posted in the Storm Report. Where would I post that then? It would just go right into the Storm Report. I'm just going to leave that channel open tonight, Toby and Lord, and we're going to go ahead and cover all those and anything else that you post after that. This is indeed Riot Sister. A lot with this resin stuff like this one, but I believe all new stuff they're coming out with going forwards is the... Okay, I'll take a look at that. I haven't even looked at Night Models in a while, but that news is like very, very relevant to my interests, Robin, and thank you for letting me know. Mafik, you have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out, man. Maybe just, you know, maybe just change that one color. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna paint your models for you, Robin. Though maybe I should. Anyway, coming down here, we have from Vergaderung my before and after for the King Crab 010 that I modified from Polygon's model. Yeah. Now, you did this one a while ago as far as the actual work on it, didn't you? I remember you working on the nipple PPCs quite some time ago, but we're actually only recently apparently got it put together and decided to paint it since kablam. This works really nicely. I've seen some where, because on his, didn't he have them mounted up here as opposed to down here in the torso? Maybe I'm remembering another King Crab modification that you did for Vergaderung. I really like this style of PPC that you developed. It's similar to the one that you did for your Catapult K2. The sort of flat front with the central emitter and then the little energy channels down the side. It really just screams energy weapon, as opposed to a lot of PPCs which wind up with barrels and look like traditional projectile weapons, which they're kind of, in that they do fire a particle beam, but they don't work like a gun normally does. Baton 2, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Nobody's made an 010 other than you and Sylogy. Maybe I was just thinking of his. That's possible. Vergaderung, you do so many mods, man. You do so many mods sometimes. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I do. Either way, lovely paint job. You have got your Comstar style down. Just so... Oh my god, I love this. This is what I remember. Are these... I'm going to go with, like, cooling fins. Like, radiant cooling assemblies on the back. This is one of the coolest damn things. No pun intended, because that would be an awful pun, and I regret making it. That's really neat. So, like, the whole PPC assembly goes all the way back through the torso and then vents heat right out the back. Gorgeous. Gorgeous work, gorgeous paint job. Love the weathering on the feet, and then, of course, using the static grass and the tufts to tie it in with your whole alien board. I love how you do pictures now, too, where you've just got the terrain surrounding it, toss in some infantry, you got a little Savannah Master back there. Fucking impressive work. Really nicely done, Vergaderung. Here we have for our before from Ren Momo, my pile of shame. Then, this is not too bad. This is a well-organized couple of tables of shame, in all fairness, and not even that shameful. We're not maximally or super efficiently filling all of our space. I have these same bins. These things are fucking fantastic. You can get them on Amazon pretty cheaply, regularly, and they clip together. I love those damn things. But there's our before. My pile of shame. After painting a lot and giving some stuff away, we are down to just one table and part of another. Giving some stuff away, honestly, that's good to hear. When we get too much stuff, sometimes it's good to just recognize the parts that we're not going to get to and put them in the hands of people who are actually going to do something with them. So I like this one. I like this, Ren. I congratulate you on making that choice, on not only getting some painting done, but then on putting plastic... Just giving it a better home. Because sometimes that's what it needs. I always find unpainted, unplayed with plastic sitting on a shelf a little tragic. Just a little tragic, at least when I do it. I know that somewhere out there in the world is someone who would appreciate it, someone who would paint it, someone who would play with it. I'd rather that they have it. But that will bring us to the end of the Storm Report, and early tonight, and again, I do apologize for this change of schedule, folks, but an early end to tonight's stream. All right, let me, yeah, please do Toby and Lord. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Let me see. It's a little bit earlier tonight, so we may have some interesting people online. Let me go ahead and find y'all somebody. Somebody doing something. I know they are. Ooh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Wombat Combat's just getting going. Skellabee is doing some building. Let's have a look. Let's go see Skellabee. Let's go see Skellabee. I think we rated Wombat more recently than her. She is doing some building and working on some Tau right now. She hasn't streamed in a little bit. I know she's been working a whole lot lately, and she's using some methods on these Tau that I really pushed her into recently. And I'm glad to see it. Let's go ahead and get that started up. And folks, it's a little bit earlier, so you might not be turning in for the night, but if you feel like sticking around for a minute, go with the raid. Check out the channel. Skellabee has a great channel. She is a lot of fun. See if you like the stream. Consider dropping a follow when you get over there. Do I have that back? Oh my god, did I? Well, whatever. This is what we're doing. It's happening now. Alright, we will be back Tuesday. I'm thinking pretty much all this week we're going to be doing 3D modeling streams, because I want to get this Panther done, and I've got a number of other things to work on, so that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. I haven't really been all that much in the mood to paint, so we're going to get the work done while we're in the mood to do it. So, Tuesday the 28th, Thursday the 30th, we will be doing 3D modeling here on the stream. Saturday the 2nd, we're going to have another Discord movie night. We are going to be watching Neil Breen's Twisted Pair. If you've never seen a Neil Breen movie, I encourage you to come out. If you have seen a Neil Breen movie, I encourage you to forgive me for the last several and come out anyway, because Twisted Pair is one of the more amusing entries in his bizarre and troubling catalog. That would be Never 8-Bit Workshop. Or 8-Bit Sweater. Oh my god, my brain is just completely coming apart. And then Sunday, we are going to go ahead and try to do some painting 1 week from tonight. I have some dwarves to finish. Thank you to everybody who posted tonight. I'm going to go deal with my business, so